It's going to snow. Everybody panic. Yeah. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. We're just getting ready for the freezing cold weekend because it's going to get crazy. I mean, this is a battle scene from Braveheart, or is it the last time it snowed at the nearest grocery store? So we'll get you ready here. We don't get to do this very much, but, you know, the once a year that we get to get all excited about ice falling out of the sky. We know how to get ready for it. We just need a few reminders here. WFAA was all over it on their morning show. I'm going to share a couple pieces of that. Number one, I'm interested in the road preparation game we got going on. TxDOT is putting brine on the roads, and this always cracks me up because the other 364 days a year, that's, you know, what I keep my pickles in. Or, you know, sometimes I'll brine a turkey. So I hear that and I associate it with food. And so I checked. And the brine that they're putting on the road actually tastes pretty good. It's better than you expected. But no, joke aside, WFAA.
Well, look, Erica, TxDOT says that they've already started laying down brine. That's that saltwater solution they put on the pavement to try and keep the ice from sticking. They say they've got about 6,000 miles to cover, and right now they are working 12-hour shifts to try and stay ahead of whatever the weekend throws our way. Now, as we know, one of the biggest concerns heading into this is the impact of ice and icy roads. Over at the North Texas Tollway Authority, it's very much an all-hands-on-deck situation. Inside their Safety Operations Center, dispatchers are already watching more than 2,000 cameras across toll roads in real time. Now, they're also relying on sensors buried in the pavement and on bridge decks that measure road temperatures, moisture, and even how well ice melting chemicals are working. Now, the NTTA officials tell us when winter weather hits, response time is everything. They say they know a stalled car or crash on an icy road can quickly turn dangerous, so they're staffing the center around the clock and getting snow and ice trucks ready to roll.
We're ready for it. We're staffed up for it, but it's going to be a slog. It's hard work.
Now, this morning, the message from transportation officials is simple. If you do not have to be out on the roadways once this weather advisory sets in, stay at home, do not drive. But if you do, you're going to want to give crews some extra room as they work really hard to try and keep everyone safe throughout this and throughout the weekend.
So a tip, if you see the trucks, because they have the bar that comes off the back and it's just dripping the brine onto the roadway, you can walk behind that with a turkey and just put it under the brine water, and you can get some nice juicy tenderized. It's just, can we come up with a different word for it? Can we at least pretend it's not like food? Yeah, we'll call it de-icer. Can we call it de-icing solution? Hell, just call it salt water. Brine makes it sound like food. I don't know why that bugs me so much. But also some winter driving tips. Number one tip, stay the hell off the road, but a lot of people don't have that luxury. So if you are going to be driving, WFAA.
Of course, I'm coming from years of talking about winter weather, so we want to keep you safe. As far as winter driving tips go, allow extra travel distance between you and vehicles in front of you if you do need to travel. Also, give yourself plenty of extra time for your commuting. You do not want to rush it. Take it slow and be safe. Bridges, ramps, overpasses, beware. Those elevated surfaces freeze first. So you will likely deal with slick and icy conditions there first. Again, we're talking about tomorrow through Monday with those dicey roads expected. Even if the roads look fine, we are still urging you to slow down because black ice, that will get you, like Janelle was just talking about as well. So those Friday to Monday driving tips, think before you go, clear off your vehicle before you start driving. And as far as skidding goes, you want to be careful not to accelerate or brake too hard when you're driving in winter weather, Mark.
All right, so you're going to want to keep it here also over the weekend. We're going to be breaking in as the weather hits, and if it becomes an emergency situation, you know, we like to interrupt our programming and just go live and talk about what's going on in the ground in your backyard. And I'm actually on call all weekend, which is fine by me. I have a home studio as well, so if something pops off, I could just walk down the hallway and turn it on if I still have power. But that's another thing we're going to talk about, getting you ready for the winter storm that's coming this weekend. We're going to help you prep your home. We're going to help you prep your car. We're going to help you with the kiddos. We're going to gripe about, because, you know, schools are just dying to go ahead and cancel classes for Monday. They can't wait. There doesn't have to be one piece of ice falling out of the sky. They're having the meetings right now to cancel class. So we'll talk about all of it. We're going to get you all covered. It's going to snow. Everybody's going to panic, but we're going to get you ready here. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. It's going to snow. Everybody freak out. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. We're just getting you ready because it looks like it's going to get cold this weekend. It's just a little bit chilly, and it's going to stay cold below freezing for about 48 hours or so. So that's not too normal for us. I mean, however, we've experienced this a little bit here and there in small doses before. But I think the one thing that we all worry about the most is losing power. Icy roads, yeah, that's bad. If you can't stay home, you have to, or you should. But there's a lot of people who don't get that luxury. You understand, like if you're a nurse that works in an ER or an intensive care unit, you can't just call into work. You can just call into work if you're an accountant at the hospital. You can just call into work if you're in the marketing department, but you can't call into janitors can't call into work. Policemen, firemen, these poor broadcast heroes that have to report during emergencies. Sometimes in the media, we have to sleep at work. You get snowed in, or you get hurricaned in, or you get flooded in, or tornadoed in, or something to that effect. But there's a lot of people who can't just stay home. So then what do we do about that? Well, we've got to try and keep the roads clear. We've got to try and be safe. We got to learn how to drive in icy conditions. And I'm 48 years old. I think I've really only driven in super icy conditions here in Texas, like maybe 20 times. But I had one year where I lived in Northwest Oklahoma, and it's the weirdest thing. It's like on TV where it actually snows and accumulates, and it stayed on the ground for about 3 straight months. I had 1 year of living in a place like that, one winter of living in a place like that. And let me tell you a little secret here. You may think, well, a bunch of idiot Texans don't know how to drive in the cold. They're all sliding around and sliding off the road. In the places where they drive in icy conditions every winter, they're sliding off the road too. There's no magic pill. There's no like new Yankee skill that they've developed because they're used to it. They just deal with it. It's not like they don't slide off the road or they don't bump into icy bridges because, the bridge is ice first and you have the people who just lose control and bang onto the side of the bridge. It happens constantly. But they're used to that, so it doesn't even register in their head like, hey, we must be terrible drivers. But they'll come down here and they'll make fun of us. And this weekend, you're going to see some people sliding in the ditch. You're going to see people online on your social media, in the comment section under news articles. What a bunch of idiots that don't know how to drive it. No, they just slide around up north too. I've seen it with my own eyes. Don't buy that. The other thing I don't buy is this criticism here. It kind of went viral yesterday. There was a picture of Ted Cruz getting on an airplane, and the caption said, Ted Cruz is running off to Laguna Beach while the rest of Texas is freezing. He's going to be in the comfortable Southern California, whatever. So a couple of quick sleuthing efforts here. Turns out the Cruz party, the Cruz staff said this was a pre-planned event. It's not like he's going on vacation or he's running from the cold. In fact, he's going to be back before it even starts snowing here. But what is this deal? What is this mindset that if we're going to be sitting here in the cold with our power out, then our senator has to be sitting here in the cold with our power out too? What good does that do anybody? Anyway, here's a quick summary from WFAA.
Have you seen the photo going viral online? Senator Ted Cruz spotted on a flight to Laguna Beach, California. It's an image that sparked backlash for a lot of folks and reminded some people of that controversial Cancun trip he took during Texas's deadly winter storm 5 years ago. Well, we checked in with the senator's office, which says this is a pre-planned work trip that was scheduled weeks ago, and that the senator will be back in Texas before any of the storms arrive.
I just hear a lot of envy in that. I don't think that's a legit complaint. Look, just because you're in a single wide trailer with the power out, shivering your teeth off, doesn't mean he has to be too, or it makes him a bad person if he's not. A lot of your friends with higher incomes than you are getting the heck out of Dodge. There's a lot of people who have, worked hard and made some money, and if this big storm comes, they're gonna fly south. Or fly to California. Can you blame them? Even if it was the purpose of Ted Cruz's trip to say, I'm going to avoid this ice storm. So what? Does that make him a good senator or a bad senator? Because a capitalist who runs away from snowstorms is still a preferable senator to a socialist who's freezing right next to you. But it's never going to be fair. It's never going to be even. There's going to be poor people who aren't prepared, who don't have a whole bunch of food in the pantry. There's going to be the people just down the street who have a nice, comfy house. They've got a generator. They're staying warm. So even if the power goes out, they're doing good. It's never going to be 100% equal. And this is just the politics of envy. And it's kind of ugly. Why are you fussing the guy? And by the way, the picture that went viral with it, AI said that was a picture from the flight that he did take on the Cancun trip, which it was labeled controversial. It's only controversial because you say so. I don't think it's controversial. Hey, someone doesn't want to sit around in the snow. They'd rather be on a tropical beach. Oh, what a shocker. I am so offended. But I want you to, if you are one of the lucky ones that doesn't have to work this weekend, especially if you're in my position, I've got 4 kids at home and they rarely get to see snow. In fact, my youngest doesn't ever remember seeing snow. So this is going to be really fun at the Parker household. So we just want to keep you safe. In fact, if you are in almost vacation mode, because that's what it turns into, I want you to enjoy this just like Jameis Winston enjoyed his first snow game as the Cleveland Brown.
And we back again out here playing some football on Thursday night. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. And we out here. We outside. My first snow game. E, let's get it.
I never got to play a snow game in football. That's going to be fun. Listen, a couple things I would start with. Number one, if you have any tips for the rest of us, things that you've discovered to help out your fellow Texans in the rare snow event, 800-288-9227. Also, be my eyes and ears out there. Where are the most dangerous spots in your area? Like if you're like, well, there's this one bridge in Saxe where everybody slides around, or everyone ends up in the ditch in this one curve or around the corner from where I live in Benbrook or something. 800-288-9227. Let me know about the hazards and whatnot going there. But the one thing I can recommend, and advice that I haven't taken yet, but it's a generator. You know, I've always toughed out the bad weather events, whether it was a storm knocking out your power or the rare snow event or a flood or something. The power goes out, I would just grin and bear it. But my in-laws have always had a generator. And man, if you've ever had the power knocked out in the summer, you sit around your house for just 2 days when it's 98 degrees outside, and you'll think, oh my, how did people survive like this for all of human history until about 60 years ago? But you get a generator, it's amazing. You don't have to go throw out all your food in the refrigerator. You don't have to get a giant generator, just one that keeps your fridge on and your AC on, and that's amazing. And it also works in the winter. The power is likely going to go out in a lot of places. Are you prepared for that? Because for a lot of people, they're going to go, I got to go get some candles. I might get a generator before the weekend. I know it's kind of expensive, but I'll just throw it on the credit card maybe. Because that is such the biggest stark difference in standard of living when the power goes out is whether or not you have a generator. And the power is going to be out for, you think it's going to be out for 48 hours, but no, it's just going to be cold for 48 hours. It's going to knock the power out, and depending on how bad it is, it may take them days and days and days to get it back on. And it's not going to be nice and balmy on Monday. So I think that would be that's the biggest cheat code for these severe events, because the one thing that it turns a storm into something that's a little wild into something that's terrible is when the power goes out. That's all. And there's only so much you can do to prepare for it. On a long enough time scale, it's going to happen to you. And that's just one lesson that I've learned the hard way, just because I was lucky enough to experience it from other people who tend to be a little bit more responsible than me. All right, so I want to hear your tips. I want to hear your safety warnings. I want to hear the most dangerous spots in North Texas for whenever it freezes. 800-288-9227. We don't get to do this very much, this winter storm action, but we'll get through it together. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. All right, the winter weather's coming. No need to panic. You're listening to WBAP. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. And we're getting you ready for the cold winter weather that's going to happen. The official word from the National Weather Service is that we're expecting a wintry storm watch now in effect for all of North Texas and Central Texas from Friday afternoon through Saturday night. Now, my iPhone says it might last a little bit longer than that. Brad Barton was also making the point that it's going to be vastly different depending on your geography within the WBAP listening area. Because you've seen this story before. The people like way up north and west of us around Wichita Falls are going to get a lot more of the action than the people in the southeast part of the WBAP listening area, like Buffalo, Madisonville down there. So, but we're all expected to get something, which is kind of rare. So we're just getting prepared for it. I want to know if you have any good tips for your fellow Texans, because we don't get to go through this a whole lot on getting through this. Also, any danger zones that you could let us know about to maybe save some of us some grief. Is there any place that turns into an absolute ice hellhole whenever you have winter storms? Is there a dangerous bridge or curve that a lot of people go down on? Let us know. 800-288-9227. This is Tanisha in Arlington. You're on WBAP.
Hey, how are y'all?
Good. A little chilly.
And if I could get on a flight, actually I can, and I'm still trying to.
Nice. So seriously, so you're referring to the Ted Cruz thing. I have some friends because I work in the radio business, and people who sponsor radio shows tend to have disposable income. They're almost all local business owners, and a lot of those guys get the hell out of town anytime this happens. Or like they'll probably get out of town when the World Cup happens, or anytime the roads are going to be locked up. They get out of town for pretty light and transient causes because it's not that big of a deal to them. And I don't fault them for that at all.
Right. I mean, you only get mad because you can't. Because if you could, you would.
That's a perfect way to put it. You only get mad because you can't do what Ted Cruz is doing. I like that.
Right. And I know they could, they would. Who wouldn't want to go to be on some beach right now?
Where would you go? Where are you trying to go?
Anywhere that's warm.
Right. Yeah. Well, Miss Parker has family in the Yucatan, and so that's kind of our default bug out place, especially in winter. You can go down there right now. It's 88 degrees on the beach.
See, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, as a fellow Kansas, I grew up in Kansas, and my husband is from Michigan, and we still have all our family there. So these are a few hacks that we have from them and from growing up in these cold places. But if you have a pet and you need take your dog out, put a tarp down and put something down to weigh it down. And then that way when your dog needs to go out, you just pull it up and let them go do their business.
Whoa, I never even thought of that. Okay, that's good advice. Give me more, Tanisha.
Okay, then we have a couple cars that have to sit out, like our kids' cars have to sit out on the street. And so we take Ziploc bags and put them over the mirrors. Like you put it inside the mirror, inside the Ziploc bag.
Okay.
And tie something around it, and then put a tarp over your windshields too. So that way and then take WD-40 and put it all around your door and on your key if you have to get into your car. So it doesn't freeze.
Wow. Okay. Another good piece of advice. I have the keyless entry, so I guess I don't really have to worry about that. But I have had ice actually freeze in the keyhole of my car before.
Yes, and so you spray the WD-40 right on the keyhole.
Oh, I just poured water in it. But WD-40 works too. I love WD-40. Keep going, Tanisha. Yeah, what else you got? Because
go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so for the 1 year that I was up in Northwest Oklahoma, we were right next to the Kansas border. I was so impressed at how even if there would be a foot of snow on the ground, people would still go to school.
Yeah, we always went to school. I can't ever remember because I lived in Germany for a long time when I was a military brat, and I cannot remember going to school just because there was snow on the ground. Right.
And they just suck it up, and it's like a normal day, and no one freaks out. It caught me off guard because I didn't grow up like that, and I'm from here. So any other tips before I let you go?
And then just in case your power goes out and you need to cook just a small little something, you can take a muffin pan, take tea light candles, stick it inside the muffin pan, and you can put like a little small pot or a pan on it and make like an egg or just something small.
Good stuff.
To eat.
Well, thank you for sharing your cold weather wisdom with us, Tanisha in Arlington.
Yeah, I'm at right now at a store getting a generator right now as we speak.
Right on. Well, I hope you can fly out of here and you don't even need to use the generator. Thank you. Thanks again.
Right.
All right, good
Right,
call.
thanks,
See,
bye.
that's exactly what I'm looking for, y'all. Jeff in Benbrook, you're next up on WBAP. How are you getting ready for the cold?
All right, so here's a couple tips. My first tip is and you may have this may have already been said. Fill your bathtub up all the way as much as it'll take with water, because if you lose water or if you have a pipe burst, you can still use your toilet. So you can fill your tank up with the water that you've had stored in your bathtub. Number two is if you have a swimming pool, wrap the pipes, and you're going to run the filter motor pump all weekend long. And number three is if you do have a pool, you can use the water in the pool to fill your toilet tanks and not fill the bathtub. But at least absolutely fill your bathtub up with water so you have water.
Well, if I know anything, Jeff in Benbrook is not going to be using the bathroom in his backyard. You're all over the toilet situation. This probably is my least favorite time to go to the bathroom in the yard, though. You're right. Let me do one more. Anna in Rockwall, you're on WBAP. How you getting ready for the cold?
Well, we have a boat, a side-by-side, and a riding lawnmower, and we always put Stay-Bill in the gas tanks. And also, they do make battery maintainers for about $15 a piece. So if you're concerned about your battery or something that you don't use during the wintertime, we have about 5 of those. So that
What's a
helps.
maintainer? This is new to me.
You plug it in. Now, you have to have electricity, obviously, but you plug it in, and it has little clips, and you put it on your actual battery of your car or of your side-by-side or your whatever it is you have. And we keep them on there all the time so our batteries don't go down.
Oh, okay.
And you just plug them in the wall, plug them on the little things on your battery, and the light will stay green. And if it clips off, it'll go red. We do that with our freezer. That's in our, they have one that you can do on your freezer in your garage. And if all of a sudden it goes red, you know your freezer in your garage isn't staying up. And then also I have obviously a generator, and but the Stay-Bill is also good too about putting in your gas tanks.
Okay, good stuff.
Those are my things to give in right now.
Well, I've got a good workaround. If your freezer stops working in the cold weather, you could just chuck your stuff in the yard. Wouldn't that work?
That is true. That is true.
All right, thank you very much, Anna in Rockwall. We're just getting ready for the cold weather. If you've got any advice, any warnings, any tips, any updates, 800-288-9227. It's going to snow. We'll get through this together. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey, it's going to snow. Let's get you ready for the freezing cold weekend. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820 93.3 FM, WBAP. Your home for Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. They're coming on right after this show and before I start the James show. They're on 11 to 2. They're not really going to be talking about the snow because they're a national show. So if you get tired of the weather talk, you'll get a 3-hour break from that, and then we'll talk about it again on the James show this afternoon because this doesn't happen very often. So it's a rare event. It's a special event. And just to let you know how rare this event is, I have a 10-year-old daughter that hasn't seen snow. I briefly lived in New Orleans. We moved back like just a few months after the Snowmageddon in 2021. And my daughter was so jealous because all her cousins here got to play in the snow, and they were sending pictures, and we made a snowman, and we were having snowball fights. And she was just seething because she was only like 5 at the time. So now she's 10. And she's over the moon because this will be the first time that she can see snow and that she'll remember. You know, like last year, there was some little ice that fell from the sky, and it melted when it landed, but enough of it landed on the hood of your car and didn't melt that you could go scrape up a couple of snowballs, and we got to throw that. And she was ecstatic to just do that. So she's about to just stroke out with joy here, especially if they cancel school on Monday, which I expect to happen before the first ice falls. But if you have any advice on how to be prepared for the snow or any warnings on where it gets dangerous whenever it does ice over in your area, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. This is Sally in Irving. You're on WBAP.
I have one more potty tip for you in case the pipes are frozen. A 5-gallon Home Depot bucket lined with multiple trash sacks, and then buy a $5 or $10 stool seat, and it fits perfect on the top of it. You're comfortable, and just take out your trash sacks. Works perfect.
What, do you put kitty litter in the bottom or something?
Oh, no. All your trash sacks are lined in the bucket like you put 10 trash sacks, and just take them out as needed.
You just
Perfect.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
you say
just
perfect.
like
No,
a toilet seat.
perfect is when I just hit a button and it flushes away and I don't have to carry it or tie it up or look at it or have it slosh against your leg while you're walking it outside.
Oh, we haven't had that happen. So, yeah.
Okay.
Worked for us.
Well, we have a lot of toilet tips coming in today. People have focused on that more than driving a car, because no one dies because of a wayward dude. But people die from getting in accidents on the roadway during the ice. It's funny that we focus on this so much.
It's such comfort if you have that toilet seat on it, So
Oh, I'm not saying you're wrong.
For us.
I totally agree. Well, that's good advice. Sally in Irving says, get yourself a bucket. Ultimately, if your plumbing goes out, get yourself a bucket. Well, you could just get a bucket and you could line it with trash bags like she said, or you could just be in the backyard and chuck it over the fence when you're done. You realize people used to live like that. That was the normal. You had a chamber pot, you do your business in it, and then you go to the nearest window and just chuck it. Gross. Absolutely gross. Okay, Elizabeth and Electra is next. Hey, Elizabeth, you're on WBAP. What advice you got for the cold?
Hey, ice, anywhere you can get some ice and snow melting salt. Make sure you keep your drains off your house and your driveway clear. And look up.
What do you mean, like the gutters? Sorry to interrupt, but you mean the gutters? You say
yes,
okay.
yes. Look up, make sure there's no icicles. Get rid of those because they will hurt if they fall on you. And if you can, get a big bird or a ham or something and cook it with some sides and have that ready for leftovers just in case you can't use your oven.
Well, one thing that for the brief time I lived in New Orleans, if a hurricane was coming, we all expected the power to go out for a few days. And we all tried to realize you should probably just stay in your house as much as possible. So then there was this weird the kind of purgatory that you were in because everyone would rush to the grocery store like you should probably do today to get all your stuff and get prepared. And then you would have all of your snacks, your hurricane snacks, your storm snacks from the grocery store. And between the time you came home and the time the storm hit, you had to just resist this temptation to not eat all your storm snacks. And so yeah, so if you go to the store today, you got to walk past all these Nutty Buddies and you got oatmeal cream pies and wheat thins and all this other junk. Because
Items and the kiddos and That's all I can say.
I hear you. All right. Well, that's all good advice. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And look, it wasn't poop related. Any more advice? 800-288-9227. We're just sharing nuggets of wisdom because we're not used to this as Texans, are we? Paul in Eastland, you're on WBAP. How do we get prepared for the winter cold?
Well, I've done about everything I can think of. I've treated the diesel in my pickup so that it won't freeze over just in case. But I was just thinking, a lot of people have the tendency to use their cruise control on ice and on bridges.
Is that bad?
In spite of, I tell you, your cruise control doesn't know that you're on ice, and it'll keep trying to apply pressure to the accelerator if you start slowing down, and you'll spin out on ice if you're using your cruise control.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't think I've ever been in that situation.
Well, I did it one time.
Right, that's all it takes. And now Paul's going to tell the rest of you, leave it off, cruise control. I find the 1 year I was actually in a winter situation where there's snow on the ground for a month, you get used to it after about 2 days. Like, it's the most normal thing in the world. It's snowing outside. I get up, I get dressed, I go to work. I'm driving to work in the snow, and like it's not even a special event. And that kind of was a shock to me, being from East Texas. It's like, what? Y'all are just treating this like normal. There's ice on the ground. It's falling out of the sky. This is like on TV, y'all. All right, we're sharing tips to get ready for the winter storm that's coming. You can expect. Some of us can expect the ice to start falling out of the sky as early as tomorrow afternoon. They're expecting it to be through at least Saturday, according to the official warnings from the National Weather Service. But when you listen to Brad and Delkus and some of the other local meteorologists and look at your phone too, for a lot of us, we can expect to have more ice falling out of the sky, snow through Sunday too. So the weather forecast, of course, it's subject to change and will be adjusted before it gets here. Keep it right here, and we'll keep you updated on the forecast, the preparation, what's going on around you, what's been canceled, and if you have anything you want to share, any tips, any ideas, 800-288-9227, because it's going to snow this weekend. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Who wants to have a snowball fight? It's the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Yeah, we're about to get some snow this weekend. Look, I'm kind of pumped. I'm a little childish in the fact that growing up here in Texas, I didn't get to see a whole lot of snow, and I was really jealous of the people you see. Like in all the Christmas movies, you know, snow's falling. We've never had a white Christmas. You've never had a white Christmas. I've never had a white Christmas. Garrett says he has. Thanks for ruining it for the rest of us. Where'd you go, to Colorado or something for your white Christmas? Oh, he says it snowed in Burleson in 2009. Okay, well, good for you. Isn't your life just perfect? I mean, did it really snow? Like, did it stick on the ground and you made a snowman, or did it hit the ground and like melt? Did it get higher than the grass? Okay. All right. Well, now I'm jealous of Garrett too. But we're going through some advice, getting ready for the snow. Number one, if you have a generator, I think that's the most prepared you could possibly be. But we're also getting some good advice. A lot of it's toilet related. What you do if the power goes out, if the plumbing goes out, if your toilet stops working, if you have a swimming pool, if you can get a bucket. All kinds of good advice there. Not a whole lot of driving advice. So I pulled a clip. Jerry Reynolds was on with the WBAP Morning Show. I'm going to play that in just a second when we talk about tips for your car. But if you have any tips for us, 800-288-9227. This is Alan Fort Worth. You're on WBAP. You getting ready for the snow?
Yes, I am, sir. I just wanted to throw something out. Back in '83, 4 of my friends from basic training were stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia, and our colonel called us in January and said, "You guys aren't working today. You are mine." You know how the military works. So
I
we
don't.
went out to his office. Well, we went up to the office, and he said, "We are commandeering your cars." It was January, and it was about 5 degrees outside in Georgia. And he said, "You guys are prepared for New England, right?" We said, "Yes." He said, "Okay." So we drove them around in our old beat up cars. Liquid heat or dry gas in your car today before you fill it up. And what that does is it dissolves the water, because when your tank gets low, there's a lot of water. It will turn to ice and block your engine from starting, and it won't hurt your engine at all. Just put a shot of dry gas or liquid heat in there. You can get it at any automotive store, and it'll take the water out of the gas so your engine runs better and it doesn't freeze up on you.
What was the part about having to drive around your sergeant or whatever at the military base?
He actually took us. We were 94 Bravo. We were food service specialists at Fort Benning, and he took us right out of the kitchen. So civil service was working that day, and he made us drive them around because they had all the new Lincolns and the new Corvettes and new Camaros and stuff. And they said that their cars were frozen up, and we had all the beaters, but we drove them around so they could get their stuff done.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
Their cars were frozen, couldn't start.
That's funny because they had nice cars. All right, Alan Fort Worth.
They were in Fort Benning, Georgia. They don't need liquid heat or dry gas down there. It never freezes, but that day it did.
All right. I've never used that stuff in my life. I've had to use the stabilizer because the gas that I had sitting over the winter didn't work in my chainsaw, so I had to treat like a 5-gallon tank of gas like that. But I don't think I've ever had to do that to my car. This is Abdul in Frisco. You're on WBAP. Hey, Abdul.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. Kind of chilly. Think it's going to get a little colder. You got some tips for the snow?
Yeah, definitely, because I moved here from Chicago, so I can a lot of trip, but I see a lot of people stay here in apartments and they have a carport. So those carports are not that heavy, I guess, that can handle the snow weight on it. So I would suggest if the people have a very nice car or something, do not put it under those.
Oh, no, Abdul, we're not going to get that much snow that it'll collapse a carport, you think, do you?
I mean, you never know. I just wanted them to.
Yeah, but if you saw Chicago, you saw 12 inches of snow fall out of the sky. I don't think we've ever had that in our life. It's about once every 4 years we get snow that doesn't melt immediately when it hits the ground. So with this,
that's true. That's true. But 2021 or something, I did see that there was heavy snow here in Frisco area, and that time I saw some of the carports like fall. So hats off.
All right. Well, we have an Abdul in Frisco that's from Chicago somehow. That's interesting. How long have you been here? How long have you been in Texas?
Almost 3 years.
Oh, okay. So you haven't really seen us freak out in the snow yet.
I mean, like, for good, I've been here 3 years, but I always back and forth since 2011.
Oh, okay. Well, when you do see us sliding around and freaking out because there's 1.5 inches of snow on the ground, it's appropriate to laugh. We understand. We're new at this. We're just like a newborn deer, just slipping around. It's going to be pretty bad. You're going to get a lot of entertainment out of it, Abdul.
Tell me about it. I'm excited.
Well, maybe we should listen to the carport thing, and maybe if we do, if it does come down and it starts accumulating, something to keep in mind. I don't think I've ever seen that here in Texas or when I was living in Louisiana. I don't think I saw carports collapsing, but apparently Abdul's seen that on a somewhat regular basis because that was the first thing he thought of. I can squeeze in another call here. Brent, Lake Weatherford. You're on WBAP. You getting ready for the cold?
Yeah, if you have a diesel pickup or diesel equipment, as cold as it's going to get, like the other guy was saying with gasoline, top them off. If you have a diesel pickup or diesel equipment, you need to go ahead and change your fuel filter today, because all your moisture typically gathers in the fuel filter, and then that definitely will stop everything up. So
Well, is that a diesel specific thing, or does that apply to all of us who even use unleaded?
No, you can just go ahead and fill your tank up. Unleaded, with all the ethanol and all that stuff, it pretty much keeps the moisture out. I wouldn't really worry about it with a car, but definitely if you got diesel equipment, change your fuel filter today, and make sure when you change it, fill it up with fuel before you put it back on, so you don't have dry lock.
All right, diesel drivers, you heard it from Brent in Lake Weatherford. More advice. Look, we can get ready for the cold. It might take all of us pitching in a couple of tips here and there, but you're going to hear from Jerry Reynolds, the Car Pro, next. He was on with the WBAP morning show talking about getting your car ready, and it's about 4 minutes of goodness that you'll hear next. If you got anything to add to the conversation, getting ready for the snow this weekend, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey, it's okay to freak out. It's about to snow. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. And a lot of people are kind of worried. I'm kind of giddy. I can't wait to, because as a Texan, growing up in Texas, I realized I'm only going to get about 4 chances to play in the snow with my children. And this weekend's going to be one of them. And so for a lot of people, this is going to be recreation. For other people, they still have to be out and about. It's a luxury to be able to stay home. And if you're one of the lucky people that get to do that, you should enjoy it and appreciate it. But for those of you who have to be out and about, your job doesn't stop just because the weather gets bad. One thing you really have to worry about and keep track of is your car. Now, Jerry Reynolds is the car pro, and he was on with the WBAP morning show about an hour and a half ago. I'm going to share about 4 minutes of wisdom from that.
Good morning to Jerry Reynolds, host of the Car Pro Show, Saturdays from 9 to 11 on WBAP. We want to hit all the important notes for winter car care. I mean, really, I was kind of half joking, Jerry, when I was suggesting that Ernie's sister could throw a blanket or a comforter on top of her car. But really, short of that, what can we do if you have to leave your car out and it's going to be in the single digits for lows?
Well, I'm going to tell you the battery thing is the most important thing. And anytime temperatures get down, if you've got a weak battery, it's just going to die. If you can today, run by an AutoZone, run by a parts house. They'll do a battery check for you for free. If you've got 20% or less life left in that battery, go ahead and replace it, because it's going to go bad and you're going to end up paying for a wrecker. So you might as well get it done. Top that fuel off, because that might be something that comes in really, really handy. I remember 2021 very well. I let a Dodge set in my driveway and run almost nonstop for 4 days, charging things up. I burned 3/4 of a tank of gas sitting there in the driveway. True story.
Okay, wait, so what were you, just hold on, what were you charging? So you had powered up the car.
Yes, I had powered up the car. I've got this little device. It's called a Halo, and it's a power device. So I wanted to run my computer. You need the cell phone. I wanted to be able to check on, things online because of the weather. I went 5 days with no power. So, it was one of those things where I just trade out devices in the car, and I didn't want to run the battery down in the car, so I let the car run. Just sit there and idle, locked.
Brilliant.
How many birds flew by and dropped out of the sky because of the air pollution?
I'm sure there were a lot, Hal. Thank you for bringing that up.
You got to do what you got to do to survive. You know what I'm talking about?
A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Times are tough, Jerry. So,
that's right.
Now, we were just talking about this during the break, Jerry. We were talking about the electric cars. When you get the cold, are they as efficient in the cold as they are maybe in the warmth?
Oh, no. The battery range drops dramatically. And people get into habits with electric cars, and I own one, so I know I know. Mine's not going out anywhere because the range drops so fast. And it doesn't matter what kind of electric car it is. It could be a Tesla. It could be whatever. It's going to drop quick. And if you're in that habit of, charging your car every third day, for instance, like a lot of people are, and you're used to going to work and back, and you're on your third day, you're not going to make it this time because the cold is going to zap that battery and it's going to drop quick.
Now, how do they get around that? I mean, if you want electric cars to have a life for the future, how do you get around that?
Well, do what I tell people to do, and that is don't just have an electric car. You need a gas car to go along with it.
Well, the government they weren't going to let us have that option. Now we do. We finally can have that option. But before, we were going to have 2 electric cars sitting out there, and just, whatever happens, I guess.
That's exactly right.
Let me ask you this. So if you're in your car and you're on ice and you're spinning out and you've hit other cars at a bridge and all that kind of stuff, what are the proper words to scream out loud in your car?
Hold my beer. I don't want to spill any.
Hold my beer, please.
I don't want to spill any. That's what Monty told me.
Don't listen to Monty.
That's what I screamed. I don't know what to tell you.
Like that?
No. Gosh, Monty, leave him alone.
One last thing on the cars. If you have been one of those people who filled your windshield washer fluid up with plain water.
Oh, y'all.
That's a mistake if you're going to try to use it.
All right, what should we put down in there to fix it, Jerry? Real quick, salt. What goes in there? Soap.
There is washer fluid. Washer fluid with antifreeze in it. So get some of that. Any auto parts store has it.
Okay.
Golly,
Don't listen to me. What do I know?
Salt.
You're a mechanic's dream.
Yeah. You're
Well,
brining
put
your
some salt
car.
down in there, sir.
All right. Jerry Reynolds, host of the Car Pro, Saturdays 9 to 11 on WBAP. Thank you.
One of the best guys in the entire world.
Yeah, he is. He's a hell of a man. Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
All right, that was this morning on the WBAP Morning Show. Jerry Reynolds, the Car Pro, which you can hear him on the weekends here on WBAP. And we're just sharing advice, getting ready for the rare snow event that's going to happen this weekend in North Texas. If you have anything to add, 800-288-9227. Let's go to Lawrence and Denison. Oh, now you Denison people are the snow veterans of North Texas. I feel like it has snowed twice as many times in Denison, because I used to watch the weather when I was growing up, seeing if school would be canceled, than it did in Bug Tussle. I feel like y'all got twice as much snow as the rest of us, because you're what, like an hour and a half north?
Yeah, well, about an hour, but we got some lake effect snow last year, and that was pretty cool. But I was calling to, if you've got a terracotta flower pot, you can take either these little teacup candles or a little stubby candle and light it and put it in, and that'll give you some heat.
I hear you there. Boy, you're really getting down to it, though, if you're trying to rely on the heat of a tea light.
Yeah, but it's better than nothing.
Right, and we should probably stress like 1,000 times, do not use any gas-burning products inside. Like I was thinking, Miss Parker bought a fire table for the backyard, which is totally worthless, but God, it looks cool because everybody likes to play with fire. You just can't bring that inside and do it in the living room, as tempting as it would be because of the carbon monoxide situation.
No, and don't bring your grill in to cook with either.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we say it. I hope everybody listens to the show and does it. But every once in a while, you hear about some sad story on the news, someone killing themselves with carbon monoxide, and that's super rare. But please try and avoid that. And make sure your neighbors are avoiding it, and people that don't listen to WBAP, and your kids and in-laws and all that. Tommy, Grand Prairie, you're on WBAP. Hey, Tommy in Grand Prairie, you getting ready for the cold?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Not much. Go ahead.
Hey, my mom was a mechanic forever. She was originally owner of a '67 2+2 and a '69 Impala. Anyways, what she always did was put if you had regular windshield wiper fluid, she put isopropylene alcohol in the wiper fluid to keep them from freezing.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's better than salt, like Carla said. Or I don't know. Salt might work to keep it from freezing. It's not going to help you clean your window. It might make it taste a little better, but all right, good advice. There's Tommy in Grand Prairie. We have some more callers lined up, but share your winter storm advice because we need all the help we can get. The super rare snow is coming this weekend in North Texas, and we're getting you prepared on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Yeah, it's going to snow. Yeah, we'll probably freak out a little bit, but we'll get through it. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. If you've got any advice for your fellow Texans in preparation for the wintry storm that's about to hit starting tomorrow afternoon, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Now, it's going to get down pretty cold as far as the actual temperature goes, and depending on who you look at, down to 14 degrees is what my phone says. I've seen in different forecasts online, 13 degrees, 12 degrees. So that's really low. We don't get to see that a whole lot. The lowest number you're seeing, though, is the wind chill. You can expect wind chills down to -10. I don't know if I buy that. I'm not a big fan of the wind chill factor. I'm not a big fan of the heat index. I think they just invented things. Oh, it will feel like, so they can report a more sensational number and grab your attention and improve their ratings and, make meteorology actually something you have to watch now. Oh my goodness, -10, that's ridiculous. And they do that all summer. Yeah, well, the high today is 96, but it feels like 102. So I'm quite skeptical there. But I can say the coldest temperature I've ever been in is -11 Fahrenheit without the wind chill, just -11. It was that for one day, and I had to go out and stand in it. But dude, I'm from here. I'm from East Texas. I just crawled out of a log cabin where it snows once every 4 years. So I bundled up, and I don't even have a real coat. Like, I have a coat you can wear like while you're skiing or whatever. It looks like a starter jacket. But if you have any Yankee friends, they have these big coats that are like really heavy, and they go all the way almost to your ankles, and you can't get anything through that coat. I don't know if it has down in it or one of those Gore-Tex mats that they use for yoga. I don't know what's inside those things, but people from up north have real coats. Well, I didn't have that, so I had to put on like 18 layers, and I just went and walked around in the parking lot of my apartment. I didn't do anything. I didn't have anything to do. I was just like, I've got to see what this feels like, -11. And the only thing exposed on me was my face, and that was crazy because you really could take a glass of water, like go in your kitchen, get a cup of water, you go outside and you throw it in the air and it freezes before it hits the ground. I got to see that once in my life. It was wild. We're not going to do anything like that this weekend, but it's going to be colder than it's been in a long time around here. This is Scott in Plano. Hey, Scott, you're on WBAP.
Hey, love your show. I have a interesting story. So back in 2010, a bunch of snow dumped on Plano to the point where we were able to roll up the snow and make snow people. I mean, these snow people were like 3-4 feet tall, and we did 4 of them, right?
Okay.
And so we were so proud of that, and our lawn was, green again because we rolled it up. That's incredible.
Right.
And so we go out to February 14th, Valentine's Day, for a dinner for a family, right? And so we come back, and our snow people were murdered.
Oh, no. You mean murdered like they melted, or someone came by and hit them with a stick?
No, it was a truck that came and just mowed them down.
Oh, a truck slid through your yard?
I went through the yard, and I took pictures of the tires, and my daughter always tells the story. I actually had one of the chunks in my freezer for a while to see if we could figure out who and we probably knew, we figured out who it was.
Oh, you think they did it on purpose?
Yeah, of course.
Well, they could have slid off. You could live on a curve and someone just slides off the road and up. I don't know. If you did that to my 10-year-old daughter, because she's never been able to build a snowman in her entire life, and if someone hit it with a car, she would just cry. It would almost be like a real funeral for her. All right, thanks for sharing your story, Scott in Plano. We'll go to Phil in Denton. You're on WBAP. Hey, Phil.
Appreciate it, James. Just a driving tip in case anybody's interested. With all the high interchanges that we have around here, they always freeze up in the winter. How about some snow chains or snow straps for your automobile? Now, those will give you traction, and especially if you're on the downhill slope of the interchange there in Dallas.
Do you use snow chains or snow straps?
Only when the snow and the ice gets more than an inch thick.
Okay. See, because we all probably know some transplants here. They tell you they never use snow chains up north, and I don't know. I haven't spent enough time up there to know whether or not they do use snow chains. I've been in New York City once when it was snowing, and there was kind of snow that was accumulated on the sidewalks and in the few little grassy areas, but the road couldn't keep snow on it for 5 seconds because there was constantly cars on it, and nobody had snow chains there. But I don't know if that applies to the situation you're talking about. I mean, where do you even get snow chains? They sell those at AutoZone or something?
Yes, they do, but they're probably very rare down here in Texas. You find them a lot up in central Michigan.
Oh, yeah, that makes probably a lot more demand for snow chains and snow tires and snow whatever in central Michigan. All right, hey, keep sharing your tips for the cold weather this weekend, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. When we come back, of course, more callers are going to be sprinkled in there, but I'm going to share some of the bullet points that we just got in from the National Weather Service at the WBAP newsroom about the winter storm that's starting tomorrow and probably going to last all weekend. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. All right, we're going to get some snow this weekend. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. You're home for Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins, which will give you a little bit of a break from Snow Talk for 3 hours today from 11 to 2. And coming up on the afternoon show, I'll be live from the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo again. And we'll talk mostly about the snow, but I'll try and squeeze in some more news if we have time, because I'll have a whole 3 hours to cover that. But the National Weather Service seems to be a little bit behind what Brad Barton is reporting. And look, Brad has the advantage of he's sitting right here in downtown Dallas looking at his own radars and whatnot, and doesn't have to depend on other people to come up with forecasts. But even the official notes that came down today through Monday morning is what they're predicting for the cold weather. Now, we're not actually supposed to get precipitation in most of North Texas until tomorrow afternoon. But WBAP is a huge signal. Our AM signal goes at least 100 miles, almost like 200 miles in any direction. And if you have a good antenna, it's even further than that. So there's some people that are listening right now that you might be getting some freezing precipitation, maybe even as soon as tonight on the far northwest fringes of our listening area. But for almost everybody else, the fun should start Friday afternoon to Friday evening. Now, there's the difference. There's the winter storm watch, and then there's going to be an upgrade to a winter storm warning at some point. And once they do the warning, we'll have a better bead on when they expect it to end. But really, you don't have to wait on those guys. Listen to Brad Barton. He's telling you for most of us, it'll start Friday afternoon. It'll probably be over somewhere early in the day on Sunday. So, of course, all this is going to change minute to minute. Weather is not a static. It's a very dynamic animal to deal with here. But according to the National Weather Service, they say the dominant weather type for a majority of the area is going to be sleet. Freezing rain at the very bottom of our listening area for you guys down there, like Temple, Killeen area, Lampasas, Marlin. You might get a little bit of freezing rain, which I guess, are they saying that's different than sleet? But there will be a transition to more wintry weather. And you lucky dogs that are kind of north of us, you're going to get some sure enough snow. Now, the other concern that you have here besides the precipitation is not all winter storms come with high winds. We are expecting winds to be between 15 and 20 miles per hour during the actual storm phase, gust above 25 miles per hour. So that's going to be kind of brutal. There's a big difference in the amount of cold you can stand based on whether or not it's windy. So that's part of the official bullet points that we're getting from the National Weather Service, cross-referenced against what's coming out of the WBAP Weather Center. And so you put all this together, and we'll keep you covered all weekend. Just keep it right here on WBAP, because I'm on call, and a bunch of the broadcast team is expecting to jump into action this weekend if things start to get out of hand. This is Jamie in Dallas. If you want to be after Jamie sharing your cold weather tips, 800-288-9227. Hey, Jamie.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to finally talk to you. I listen to you all the time. So I grew up on a little farm in the Ozark Mountains, northern Arkansas. My dad had to go to his factory job no matter what the weather was. He learned a trick that I've used ever since. To protect your windshield, put a big towel on it. Beach towel if possible. Don't use cardboard. But in the morning, when you lift off that towel, all the ice will cling to the fabric and your windshield will be spotless. I guarantee it works all the time.
Yeah, we had a call from, what was that, Tanisha in Arlington. She was saying that, and if you could put Ziploc bags over your rear view mirrors, that'll help.
Yeah, that too.
And
if it's really windy, you can always put like something to keep the towel on. But even if it's slightly damp, especially if your windshield's already damp, the towel will stick to it. And I'm telling you, it works every time. You will have zero ice on your windshield, front and back.
Yeah, and she also recommended something that I thought was smart. Have a piece of fabric that goes over your keyhole. That way, when you actually have to get in your car, the key won't be frozen solid with ice, and you'll be able to actually unlock your car. So
cool. Well, yeah, I missed that first advice, but yeah. Anyway, there you go. That's my advice.
No, hey, that's all right. That was in like the second segment of the show, and a lot of people didn't hear that, so it's worth repeating. I appreciate your call, Jamie.
No problem. Pleasure to talk to you. Thanks a lot. Bye.
So for the towel over the windshield, my go-to is you get a cup of water. Now, I'm under the impression that if you get a cup of hot water, you could crack your windshield because of the extreme change in temperature. I'm almost skeptical of that, but I don't want to try it. Trainer, will you try that? See if it breaks your windshield. But we always do the cup of water. Me and Miss Parker, that's our trip. Because you throw the cup of water on there, and all the ice just turns to clear window. It's the coolest thing. I mean, for some of us, it's the coolest thing. For other people, it's called basic chemistry. You melt water. It turns into liquid. It rolls down the front of your window. It's no longer ice. It's no longer blocking your vision. All right, so we are expecting a little bit of accumulation as well. So the travel impacts are going to be really the most dangerous part of this. And the travel impacts, I know you've probably heard this 1,000 times, but it always bears repeating. The bridges are going to go first. The bridges are going to be in fact, that's the only time I've ever had a problem driving in cold weather. It was way back when I was in college going to Bug Tussle Baptist University. I was living in an apartment in Hooterville. And there was a bridge that wasn't very long. It wasn't very arduous. It wasn't very high. It wasn't on a steep grade. I was driving slow. The road seemed to be kind of clear, but there was a layer of ice you couldn't see. And I swear I was only going about 20 miles an hour. And then you just start sliding. And they say, well, you steer into it and you can pop out of it. No, I steered into it. I didn't pop out of it. I just bounced off the side of the bridge there, popped my tire. So that's the only problem I've ever had, and that's been most people's experience. Those bridges, that's the worst. And so if you don't have to go out, don't go out. Everything's canceled anyway. You're probably going to get updated here in about 5 minutes on the top of the hour news about how all the schools have canceled. If you have any extracurricular activities that were going to happen on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, forget it. It's canceled. We also have some other events like my church, Bug Tussle Baptist, was having Disciple Now this weekend. I think that's going to get canceled. We don't want to be dragging a bunch of kids all over the middle of nowhere. If the power goes out and they're snowed in, that's a level of chaos that, we can just reschedule and avoid that. So there's going to be a lot of disruptions this weekend. I am expecting any second now for the lazy administration at your local school ISD to cancel classes on Monday before the first piece of ice falls out of the sky. But as soon as that does happen officially, I'll be sure to pass it along. But in the meantime, what tips you got? You're especially important today if you're a transplant. Abdul from Chicago, he dealt with that quite a bit before he moved down here. He had some good advice. Tanisha in Arlington grew up in Kansas, so she had a bunch of good snow advice. You know what? We kind of need help from you transplants today. Show us Southerners how you deal with the ice, because we're just going to drive around and slide off the road and hurt ourselves quite a bit and figure it out the hard way. Or we could just listen to you. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Getting ready for the cold weather. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.